Yeah, welcome again into another series of the tutorial. We are still on materials compositing, and what you're going to learn in this series is about V-ray scatter, how to use it for grass and others, because you can use it to scatter trees, you can use it to scatter components, and many other things from V-ray asset library. Yeah. So then the second thing you are going to learn is Revit Materials Override. How you will be able to use V-ray materials, both PBR, to override Revit materials to get a realistic output. So thank you once again. You're welcome. So let's slide into today's tutorial proper.
Yeah, welcome again. Let's continue our material compositing. Before I move into V-ray scatter, I would like to add one more material. So I go to my asset editor. So then going to plastic. Okay, plastic. So, and I will add plastic metallic gray. It is a material I want to use for this plumb duct cover. Plumb duct cover. So I will just move this swatch or node. So because in reality it's not all pure white, it is tinted with a little yellow or orange. So, and that is what I'm going to do there. Now let's go for scatter. Scatter can be used for grass and trees, for vegetation or any other components from chaos cosmos you want to be scattered in your model or visualization. So let's go to textures. Geometries, scatter. I think this scatter tool, I can't remember whether it's available at V-ray 5. Probably it's available at V-ray 5, but it's at V-ray 6. So let me rename underscored grass. So we have, we have scatter grass. So then
Yeah, I welcome you back. Previously, we were working on V-ray scatter. I wanted to use V-ray to scatter grass. So, but we are having some difficulty, but I have resolved that difficulty. So, let's take it once more again by going to Asset Editor. Then I have my V-ray scatter here, scatter grass here. So, and I believe that let me set this back to 1. I believe that still remember how I get by adding this here. So probably let me delete them and do them again. So I'll go to this 3D view. Let me minimize this or let me go to 5. So this is where I placed the grass from Chaos Cosmos. As you know, these are the grass. This is this which I loaded in through this watch. This is the second grass, this which I loaded in through this watch. I went to my level, which is this ground 2, and I placed them here from. So, I placed them from Chaos Cosmos. I clicked here to loaded them, then dropped them on this surface. Meanwhile, this surface was created with floor, that means architectural floor, and its thickness is 1 because this grass height is almost 50 mm. This grass's height are almost 50 mm, so that the grass bump will at least show when we are scattering it. So, and so that the grass will not be higher than this scale. So that is why this floor is no more than 1 mm thick. So and then let's go back to V-ray, to Appearance Manager. So under Families, this, then I'll pick this, and I'll try and pick this floor. So I'll press finish here. Finish. So it has added the floor here. So then that V-ray scatter, the scatter grass I did, I'll add it here. So this scatter grass, I will add these 2 grasses to it. So I will just add this, and then finish it here. Click on add guest, click on this, and finish it here. As you can see, the 2 have been added. So what I will just do next is go to my view. This my 3D view is 3D view 5, so I'll just set it to 5, and then after setting it to 5, let's click on render to see the output. Make sure you are connected to the internet where you want to use the scatter. is through the internet that you load these two graphs from Chaos Cosmos onto this surface. So as you can see, the grasses are scattered, but there are few. You need much. So let me stop this and then click on interactive rendering. Interactive rendering is a kind of rendering that updates any edit you do to your model or materials in Revit. It will update it. So let's go to asset editor. So this is asset editor now, and then let's name it. So the density, we have to increase the density to have more grasses here. So it's, let's say 140. As you can see, the density has increased. So if you want to increase it, you have to add 140 plus 140, and that will be 280. So as you can see, the interactive rendering updates any editing you do here to your materials or geometries. So you can still have some spaces, of the soil. So let's add this together. Then I think we'll be having 560. Yeah, I think 560 is okay. Yeah, still few gaps, but nevertheless, it's okay like this. So what I will do next is that I will stop the rendering. But meanwhile, under materials here, you will have used this tool to pick this surface and add this soil material. Come here, you add this soil material so that you can have that soil ground beneath the grasses. So this is the soil material here, which we copied from there, underground, from ground, this one, and we drag it down here. So that's how to get your soil. And then because in Revit, the material I used in Revit is grass. So this is material from Revit. After this is what we actually go into, how to add V-Ray material to Revit material, how to override Revit materials with V-Ray materials, so that whenever you want to render, your rendering will come out with V-Ray materials and not Revit materials. So this is V-Ray material, the grass I applied to this. And this I use soil V-Ray soil to override it. So, and that is why I have in my rendering, that is why I have the grass on top of the soil, the scattered grass on top of the soil. So what I will do next is that I will go back to families, and I think I still have some views to add. So let me add more floors. I will add this. Finish. Then I will add this. Finish. So I will now add scatter grass to them. So I will go to this view. I think view 4, and I will change it here. 4. Change my camera view, my rendering view to 4. So I'll come back to rendering and then click on render. So hope we can see how the grass flows within those concrete pavers. So meanwhile, let me change the view. Stop. Let me change it to this view 6. Then we'll be able to see that this place we added to this place that have been added already, and the other place that have been added are filled with scatter grass. So let me change the rendering view to 6. Click on rendering and render. So the reason why I'm tutoring also on V-Ray scatter is that V-Ray 4 for grass, if you apply V-Ray 4 for grass, it might not go a longer way. V-Ray 4 is somehow heavy, so but scatter for grass is not heavy. So if you have a large and wide landscape and you wanted to use grass, you use scatter on that landscape. If you use V-Ray 4, it will be very heavy, it won't render, your system will be lagging. So this is how to get it better. And you can see the grass looks bumpy at 560 density. It looks bumpy. It looks like some parts are high, some parts are low. So that is the realism of scatter for grass, V-Ray scatter for grass. So let's move on. Let's move on to all the things. Let me stop. Now, what I want us to note is that this floor I made is 1 mm thick. This paver block is 50 mm thick. So that whenever I apply my grass on it, they will be high, whether it is V-Ray 4 for grass or V-Ray scatter for grass. They will be high to the edges. Yeah, the height of the grass will at least reach the edges of this block. So that they won't just cover up. And I modeling this, let me click on edit boundary so that you can see. There is hole here, hole here, hole here. So I modeled them with holes. I modeled the floor with holes. The reason is that if I just modeled the whole floor as a block without holes, and I place all these pavers on it, the grass will be showing inside these pavers. So when you want to model yours, try this method I have used. So if I click on this now and hide, you will see that there is a hole. If I go to realistic, you can see that there is a hole there. Let me just go to consistency. There is a hole. There is a hole here. So for V-Ray 4, the grass will walk through round like this. Grass will not be here. For V-Ray scatter for grass, the grass will walk through here, around here, and so on, and not will not be here. So that is just what I want to show us here. So now, how to assign our V-Ray material to Revit material, so that whenever we render, that's the main purpose we are using. We want to use V-Ray to render and not Revit to render. So this is what we are going to have. I will go to Appearance Manager, but I would have made sure that I have used Revit materials. Let's go to this. I have created Revit materials for every models and components that are in the model. So, and this is under these materials in Appearance Manager. You will find all this are loaded in from Revit. They are all Revit materials. And now we need to assign V-Ray materials to them, which we have created in all these materials. We have created in V-Ray. So we have to assign them to it. And then for me to do that, I will first make sure that you can see I have applied all my Revit materials to where I want to apply them to. So except the ones that I don't need to apply material on. That means Revit materials. So you can search this white, I call it in Revit as wall white. Then I will just, you can see that it has searched it out. I will just go to this corner and choose and scroll down. These are all my V-Ray materials that I have created, and search for the one I want to use for this white. So it is wall paint 5 grain white. So once I click it, it has applied. So I will still click on it so that I can set scale, the scale for the map. The scale for the map will stretch the map. How do you want the material to fill that surface? So the scale will stretch the material to fill the surface. And to know the proper scale you are to use for this, V-Ray most times include the parameter, the dimension you will use, the scale you will use to set it. Now, as my mouse is on this, you can see that at the end we are having 1 meter. Let me open this. So we are having 1 meter here. We are having 1 meter here. So this 1 meter that we are having here, is the appropriate scale to spread this white material across the surface of where you want to apply it in the model. So I will just come here, press 1000. So it's 1 meter, and 1 meter equals 1000 mm. The scale here is in mm, so you have to convert it. So press another 1000 meter. So, and that is done on assigning this white material to the surface. So all places I have painted with that wall white in Revit, all the places on the model will this V-Ray material be assigned to once and for all. So then let's do one more. Let me click on this, and then the first example I use is search. Now the second example I use is to click on this, and this one is more faster than searching. So let me just close this. Let me close this. So our Revit material has come up again. So then I will click on this, then click on this surface. So it brings about the wall clay. This is the wall clay. So this wall clay now, I will assign material to it because I have created a clay. This is the clay, V-Ray material clay. So I have assigned it to Revit material to override it. So clicking here now, and it's 50 centimeter, converting 50 centimeter to mm, you are going to have 500 mm. That is the appropriate scale. So here is where most V-Ray for Revit user makes mistakes and tends to make their rendering not realistic because they don't know how to apply this scaling. So whenever I see some of my colleagues or other people using V-Ray for Revit, and their output is not realistic when it comes to wall materials and so on and so forth, and any other materials, I quickly know that they do not know how to apply the scaling. The scaling is their problem. So, and with this scaling, you will get the appropriate spread you need for the material. So, and your work will come out realistic. After this tutorial, you will see the output I have will have with this model. So now let's try another one more. Let me click here. It is gray stucco. So, and I have a stucco material already I want to use, which is this material, I think. Yes, but it is too dark, so I'll make it lit. So bump, yeah, let it bump be at 0.1. So now its mapping is also 50 centimeter, that is 500 mm. Its scale rather 500. So that is how I will keep on assigning materials all over. So for this concrete now, here I have a concrete I want to assign for that, and this is the concrete floor in J. It is 2 meter, but I will not use 2 meter because 2 meter is very wide. It will not look clean on a shorter surface because this surface is very short, and these blocks are not more than 1.2 meter in length. So now I will have to go according to the length of those blocks. So here I will just put 1.2 mm. So it is this same material I want to apply on my curb. So I will just click here and apply it. And so, but this its length are not more than 600. So I will just say 600. 600. The reason why we are not using this 2 meter, let me explain once more. You know, if I am to use it on a wall now, I will use that 2 meter because the area in which the wall covers is more than 2 meter. So that is why I will use 2 meter. But the area in which this material will cover on this curve and on this block paver is short. So if you are spreading the map according to 2 meter, you will not get realism of on this block. So that is the reason why you will use the longer side of it, I mean the length of the block, so to set your mapping. So, and I think there is one other map I want to use, which is concrete. I did not load it in the other time. This. Now, this material, I want to use it for this here, this joining. That is what joins the curve together, the joiner, what we normally call cement paste that joins it together. But here, when I will be assigning it, this concrete C200, I will use 2 meter because I want it to show to details. The details of this concrete material is it's stoning. You will feel the stone, the honeycombs, it's stoning. So, and you know, in reality, when these pastes are being used to join curves together, you will still see the stones forming combs on it. So that is why I'm going to use 2000 mm. 2000 mm. So that is that for now. We will continue in the next tutorial. Thanks for your time, and we shall have it done. Yeah. Um, Thanks for learning today's tutorial. Thanks for learning so far. Thanks for your patience and then your learning. And then we'll see you in the next tutorial series. So don't forget, join, like, and follow us. These are our social handles. And God bless. See you in the next tutorial series.